everyone, it's Dominique. Welcome back to my channel, Lunar Tarot. Today I have another pick a card reading for you all. It's going to be about why your ex regrets losing you. Now I'm sure there are a million reasons, so we're going to be exploring that today. All right, so in front of me I have three crystals and cards for you to choose from. Pile number one is going to be the Sent Home card with the orange citrine crystal. Pile two is the End card with the amethyst crystal, and pile three is the Rejected card with the rose quartz crystal. All right, so while you're choosing, I'll let you know that I do have the OG reading for you guys today. That's going to be all about how this relationship shaped you. Okay, we're talking about the spiritual purpose of that connection and the transformation that you've had since walking away. All right, really interesting stuff. So I will give you guys some time to choose without any distractions, and then I will see you at the main reading. Bye-bye. Hello there, pile number one. Let's go ahead and find out why your ex regrets losing you. If you chose the Sent Home card or the orange citrine crystal, this one is for you. Let's go ahead and get into it with some tarot. Today I'm using the Tridevia deck to begin with. So let's go ahead and start. All right, Divine Source, for pile number one, why does their ex regret losing them? For pile number one, why does their ex regret losing them? Oh, wow. Okay, one more. Oh, thank you. Wow, really strong message here because we have three major arcana out of four. Okay, so if you don't know what that means, essentially the major arcana denote really big energy, especially with the more that you see, the more significant a topic may be to like another person, to you, right? Like it talks about like big, powerful, palpable sort of energy. Okay, so I can see here with the Justice card in reverse, your ex regrets losing you because, let me put it this way, they regret that their best wasn't good enough. To be fair, okay, that's what I'm seeing. With the Justice card in reverse, they feel like they couldn't give you balance in the connection. And for them, it really reflected back on their ability to be there for you, to, be in your league, to step up to your level, to do what you needed to be able to maintain the relationship. They feel like they could not maintain the relationship. And that's one of their biggest regrets, is that they feel like they were not good enough for you, okay? And the Justice card here. Justice card in reverse also makes me feel like they could have had a skewed view of what was fair in the relationship, and they regret that their perspective made them lose you, okay? And maybe they really see things differently now that you two are not together. They regret that they can't be a part of your world, all right? Because you look very prosperous in this new chapter. I have to say, we have the World card in reverse, and this is basically like them seeing you level up from the outside, all right? They're looking in, and they feel like your life has leveled up ever since you left them behind. Like you could have started to travel, you could have got a new job. Some of you guys, you had a glow up as well, like a more physical glow up. And I'm also just picking up that you're coming across like much more confident and aligned. Like you look aligned with your purpose, you look aligned with who you are, look comfortable in your skin. It all goes along with that confidence too, right? So they're upset that they can't come with you in this new phase of your life where everything is better. They almost feel like if they had, like, they would be better and they'd be a better person for having met your standards enough to reach this new threshold with you. All right. So this honestly is a person who feels like they failed you. That's what I'm picking up on. They feel like they failed you. They feel like they weren't enough. They feel like their love wasn't enough. That's part of why they regret losing you. They regret losing your love for sure. They feel like you were a very loving, caring, and nurturing person. Like you were very naturally nurturing. And you gave a lot to the connection. I'm seeing that there could have been quite a few tears shed in this connection as well. I feel like this person regrets making you cry. Okay, if that's the case, they would definitely regret making you cry. They just feel like you had so much kindness and care to give, but they almost feel like they also feel like you kind of made the right decision cutting them off, because you have the Tower. This is the only card that's upright, which is kind of interesting. By the way, guys, I had a self-tanning incident, so if you see my hands, don't worry about that. Everything else is good though, but my first time self-tanning, so Anyway, okay, so back to the tower here. What I'm seeing with the tower upright is that this person recognizes that it was a good idea on your part to end the relationship, or whatever made you end the relationship. Or I keep saying you. I actually think for some of you it could be feel more mutual, or maybe it was even this person who ended things. But I feel like for the most part, it is the viewer, who did end the relationship. This is the one thing they feel like they kind of understand, that you had to do this. This person understands that you were tired of waiting for things to change in the connection. We have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck. And the Seven of Pentacles, when it's upright, talks about like waiting and investing into something. So they felt like you invested a lot of effort and time into them, and you did not get the results that you were hoping for. And that honestly is a regret for them, because again, they don't feel like they were good enough, or that they had the skills that were needed to maintain a connection with you. And I mean, facts. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with a different deck. This is called the Oracle of Oneness. So let's go ahead and see more. Okay, why does your ex regret losing you? Why does your ex regret losing them? For pile number one, we have, are you getting in your own way? Ooh, T. Okay, why does your ex regret losing them? That's really hitting the nose. I mean, the nail on the head. There we go. Why does their ex regret losing them? Why does their ex regret losing them? For pile number one, we have Mother Tree energy encourages growth and unity. Why does their ex regret losing them? It's too many, but I will take this one here. Under the moon's glow, we retreat, reflect, and recharge. Okay, a couple different things. So the main thing that I'm picking up on here is this feeling of not being good enough and not having the skills that were needed to, you know, maintain the connection with you. Are you getting in your own way? They regret losing you because they feel like it's their fault, you know, and they feel like it was preventable, but they got in their own way in this connection, and they could have even self-sabotaged the connection with you. Okay. The next thing is that Mother Tree energy encourages growth and unity. They regret losing you because you encourage them to grow into their most powerful and authentic self. Now they don't feel like they really have that same encouragement around them, and they definitely don't encourage themselves in this same way. Okay, you could have even taken on a bit of like a parental role in this connection. Okay, that could have gotten very exhausting, is what I'm picking up on. But yeah, they feel like you really encourage them to grow, and they're not really able to encourage themselves to grow in the same way. And similarly here with Under the Moon's Glow, you really impacted them and helped them to reflect on their own mind, their behavior, their choices, their thoughts. Okay. And they felt like your energy, again, was very nurturing and recharging. It's like you had this beautiful energy that encouraged them to grow and bloom. And you did it in this very, almost like a soft kind of way, a really naturally encouraging way. I feel like you did it in a way that didn't build up resentment or like shame, and you actually encourage this person in a way that was like very positive and uplifting, and you really showed them their own potential. Now they feel like that's kind of dashed. They feel like they don't really see their own potential in the same way. In fact, this person may have some difficulties when it comes to negative thoughts and negative self-talk. Okay, we have your thoughts have power. And so they regret losing you because they feel like they're in an echo chamber of their own making. Like you were the person who's kind of helping to pull them out of some of their more negative thinking or behavior, or, you know, see their own potential. And now they don't feel like they can do that for themselves. And so they kind of feel trapped in their own little cage. Okay. That's very interesting. Why does their ex regret losing them? And if you guys are enjoying this reading so far, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Why does your ex regret losing you? For pile number one. Let your light shine, and also salt bath. Ooh, I have to say, they really felt like in a way you were doing the healing work for them. All right. And that's why they regret losing you. They kind of felt like there's no one else out there who's going to be able to do this in the same way. There's no one else who, it's like your energy was a salt bath for this person. Your energy was gosh, how do I even explain this? Like, you drew out impurities from this person, okay? And they regret it because they don't feel like anyone else is going to be able to do that for them. Dare I say, they miss your labor. Okay. They regret not being able to have your healing energy anymore. They regret not being able to use your labor emotionally to heal themselves. Okay. Just saying. Just put it out there. Okay. I know it sounds a little harsh, but I do feel like that's what's happening. We also have let your light shine. They do regret just not being able to see you shine right now. I think it's a pretty clear-cut message. They feel like you're really on right now. Again, with that world card in reverse, like they feel like your life has leveled up so much ever since you let them go, and they feel like they can't enjoy your shine. They did like to see you shine. They did like to see you happy. Don't get me wrong. Like this person isn't like, super terrible unless they are, you tell me. But yeah, there is an element of like they regret not being able to have you heal them any longer. Okay. Why does your ex regret losing you? You really were a big motivating factor for them. We have you belong here. Why does your ex regret losing you? You made them feel like they belonged in your life. Like you gave them this sense of home. There we go. Yeah, you give them the sense of home that they can't seem to find anymore. They feel very comfortable with you. What you seek is seeking you. Again, you really help to show them their potential. You open their eyes to their own star potential. All right. And you help them to realize that the dreams that they want to achieve in life, they actually can get there. But without you, they feel like it's so hard. They feel like they're stuck in transition. They're stuck in the in-between. They can't make the jump from here to there. But with you, that bridge seemed possible. It's almost like you were building the bridge to get them to where they wanted to be. And now that you're no longer in their life, they're like, what do I do with all this wood? What do I do with this space in between? Like, how do I build this bridge for myself? But you know what? People need to learn how to do those things for themselves. So it's still very important. You're not sentencing anyone to a life of unfulfilled potential by not fulfilling their potential for them. One, people can't even do that. People have to do it for themselves. And two, it's important people to learn how they can reach their own potential. Otherwise, you're always going to use other people as a means to an end. Okay. The end being success. Unfair. All right. So off my soapbox, we'll look at the Alentine Wellness Law of Attraction / Love Oracle cards. And then that's going to be the main reading for today. Guys, be sure to check out the OG reading. It's going to be all about how this relationship has shaped you. Okay, we're going to talk about the spiritual purpose of this connection and the transformation that you've had since you've walked away. Okay, Divine Source, why does their ex regret losing them? For those who chose pile number 1, the future you now. This is funny because it came out right as I was shuffling, but without intention, and now it came out again. Why does their ex regret losing them? Oh. Why does their ex regret losing them? Okay, let's start with these, and I'm going to get some more. So immediately, I'm telling you, they feel like you unlocked their potential. Future you now. You're already that person deserving. You have arrived, achieving your dream. When they were with you, they felt like they could do it. All right. They feel like I'm already the person who is going to reach that next goal. I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to do that. Like, you made them feel like they could do things, even if they actually didn't do them. I want to caveat that. They felt like their potential was achievable, even if they weren't actually achieving it. Okay. I hope that makes sense the way that I'm putting it. By being with you and you were constantly pouring into them and pouring into their confidence, it made them feel like their goals were achievable. And now that they're not with you, it doesn't feel the same. Like they don't feel that same sense of encouragement and progression and, motivation that they had with you. Next, we have daily habits. It says self-care, morning and evening, success routines, make healthy choices, okay? Your ex regrets losing you because literally their healthy habits have gone down ever since you two stopped being together, okay? This person may work out less. They may, maybe their diet has changed. Their morning and evening routines have changed. Maybe they don't take care of their skin as well. Maybe they don't get as many haircuts. Maybe they're not making really healthy choices for themselves when it comes to, sleeping times and substances and how they treat people. Like their habits are getting worse, and they feel like you really encourage them to be healthy, take care of themselves, and keep up with themselves. And that's just not the same anymore. I'm picking up that this person tends to go to bed a lot later now. Kind of odd, but they could go to bed later. Maybe they stopped taking care of their health as much. Okay. Another reason why they regret losing you, again, they just kind of felt like you helped to take care of all these things for their life. Like you were kind of that person that reminded them to take care of themselves, which to me seems unfair, honestly. We have to be the managers of our own life, okay? We can't outsource the management of our own lives because other people have their own lives to live. Like, hello, you got to come together as individuals. But I feel like this person was trying to outsource a lot of their catalyst to grow, a lot of their motivation to you, okay? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, for sure. Anyway, we have the highest expression, fulfilling life purpose, soul contract, destiny, co-creating with the universe, bliss, and knows worth. Your ex regrets losing you because they actually felt like, one, you bring out the highest version of them, and they don't do that for themselves. They feel like you did that for them. And additionally, they kind of felt like it was your guys' destiny to be together, and they messed that up, all right? For some of you, this person could have told you that they wanted to marry you, they wanted to, be in a long-term relationship with you, whatever the case may be. And they just really feel like they didn't get to that highest expression. They didn't get to that destiny that they felt they could have had with you, okay? Yeah, they regret losing you because you made them really happy. You did make them happy, all right? And they don't feel like they can make themselves as happy, which is hard. Darkest before the dawn, breakdown before the breakthrough, major shifts in progress. Spirit wants to kind of caveat this reading by saying this was necessary, okay? They're having a breakdown before the breakthrough. If you continue to be with someone and they don't know how to make themselves happy, they only know how to extract motivation and happiness and those kind of energies from you, it's really doing both of you a disservice, because we have to be able to build the muscle of creating our own happiness. It's a muscle. It is something that we have to practice, creating your own happiness. And if this person is not able to do that, and they try to keep outsourcing, they're never going to learn. Okay, so Spirit is trying to say that you two breaking up was actually beneficial most for this person, because they had the most to be improved. They need to go through this major shift. They need to learn and dissolve these barriers to their own happiness, motivations, and passions in life. Now, I'm not saying that the person had no motivation, no passion, but you really kicked it up to a whole new level. You may not even really know that, but you kicked it up to a whole new level, especially when it came to their healing, again, their motivation, and they need to be able to do this for themselves, okay? So this is actually really important. Why does their ex regret losing them? Giving and receiving. They regret it because they feel like no one has been able to give to them in the way that you did, all right? And maybe I'm picking up that they felt like they could have been better at giving to you instead of just receiving, but they really appreciated all the energy that you poured into their life, and they missed that energy, okay? And I would be remiss if I didn't say they missed the work that you used to put into this relationship, okay? They missed you working on them. And you know what? I'm happy for you, because it's better that you spend your time working on you, okay, and investing that energy into yourself instead of taking on someone else as a project. Unfortunately, that's how things go. A lot of people will say, well, I've invested this much time into the relationship, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm just going to say one last thing. You can't invest time. You can only waste time. Let's get that straight. You cannot invest time. So if this was you, and realizing that, you know what, I need to put myself first. I need to put my needs first. And if this person doesn't have the tools that it takes right now to maintain this connection, that's okay. Maybe we shouldn't be in a connection together, because I need to take care of me. I need this emotional space. I need this mental space. I need this energy to take care of me. I'm proud of you. Okay? You do the right thing for the both of you. All right. That's what I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that it brought you clarity, peace, any of those awesome things. Guys, do check me out on TikTok if you want more content from me under the same handle, Lunar Light Tarot. I also have a website if you want to check that out. It is lunarlighttarot.com. That's where you can book a reading with me. My new oracle book, Cosmic Confessions, is out now on Amazon. If you want to check out my oracle book, link is in my description for that. And of course, the OG reading is coming up at the very end. All right. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Talk to you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Hey there, pal 2, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the end card or the amethyst crystal, this one is for you. Let's go ahead and find out why your ex regrets losing you. Today, I'm starting with the Tridevia Tarot. So let's go ahead and get into it, okay? Why does your ex regret losing you? Okay, quick. Two of Pentacles, the Devil card, the Star. Okay, and the Eight of Cups. Wow. Really strong energy to start. I wouldn't even lie. Okay, this is very interesting. Two Pentacles and the Devil. Your ex regrets losing you partially because you really exposed to them some of the serious issues that they have. Okay, I'm just gonna start like that. Okay, let's just put that out there. This person kind of felt like, oh my goodness. Okay, for some of you, this was a darker relationship. Okay, I have to say. And I think for some of you, this person had some real issues. Okay, there could have been issues around cheating. Could have been even gambling. Could have been some kind of abuse of substances. Could have been that they were maybe emotionally, toxic or whatever. This person could have been someone who puts you down, wasn't the best partner, whatever. And I feel like this person, they had this perception of themselves, and then there was a reality of themselves, okay? And partially they regret losing you because you showed them and you really ripped off their mask in the process of leaving, all right? This is part of why they regret losing you, because they didn't want to see that. All right, this is an interesting reading so far. Just kind of stick with me. I think the Spirit is taking an interesting approach to this question. They felt like when you two were bound together in a relationship, they could more easily think of themselves as either the victim or the good person, okay, in a connection. But not to say that they're a bad person, but they definitely had some habits and behaviors that were putting you in a difficult position. Okay, let's just put it that way. Putting you in a difficult position, and that were ultimately probably quite selfish. I think this person might have some issues with being selfish, okay? And they regret losing you because they feel like their mask was ripped off, all right? And they were exposed either in their community or to themselves as being a selfish person and having these issues that we maybe listed earlier, okay? Now, while you were seen as righteously leaving, as being the healing one, as being the star, as being the person who, I guess in their eyes, could do no wrong, they're kind of upset about that. I won't even lie. I think this person, they don't regret in a very typical way when it comes to this question. They're not necessarily regretting that they treated you wrong or that, let the relationship slip through their hands. They're more so regretting that people see them in a negative light. Okay? They regret that they see themselves in this light. They regret that their secret is out. All right, that's what they regret. I don't really like that energy, I have to say. I feel like this person understands that you were justified in walking away, and they do kind of look at your life from the outside in a bit. I won't say as much as maybe Power 1, but this person does look at your life a bit. and they just feel like they were put out, like they feel kicked out. This person may have an issue with like wanting to be the victim in situations, or like always turning things around so that they're the ones in the like the terrible situation, when really they may have placed themselves in a situation to begin with. I feel like this person has an issue with like consequences, okay? Knowing that actions have consequences. They may feel like their actions don't, what is that called? They may feel like their actions are not worthy of consequences. And so when they receive consequences, they're like, oh my God, life is so hard for me. I can't believe something bad happened again. And it's like, well, you made your bed, now you have to lie in it. That's how that works. So very, very interesting so far. Let's go ahead and check out the Oracle of Oneness. All right. And get some more information. I feel like you have to send this person packing. Like, I feel like this was a difficult situation for you. And this may have been also on and off for some of you guys. Okay. Anyway, why does your ex regret losing you? For pile number 2. Interesting. This came out in the first reading. Mother tree energy encourages growth and unity. Okay. Let's put this one back. Why does your ex regret losing you? For pile number 2. Why does their ex regret losing them? Damned emotions may eventually burst forth. Why does their ex regret losing them? Ooh, make your emotions a priority. Ooh, this is really interesting. I feel like this was a difficult relationship for a lot of you. You may have even become parentified in this relationship, or again, taken on more of a parental role in this connection. Okay. Mother tree energy encourages growth and unity. This person regrets losing you because they feel like you did encourage them to grow, and they actually did appreciate that motivation. For some of you, I do feel like it did cause some sort of resentment as well, but they appreciated the effort that you put into them. Okay. They liked knowing that you cared, maybe too much, I almost want to say, maybe to an extent that was maybe unhealthy, like pushing you to like care and show them that you cared. But this person did enjoy that. They enjoyed the energy that you put into helping them grow. Okay. Next we have damned emotions may eventually burst forth. They regret losing you because now they have to look at themselves in a whole new way. Look at this cute beaver looking in the river. You see what I'm saying? Like, they have to look at their own reflection, and they're seeing themselves in a whole new light. One, because of the emotions that you experienced as you two were breaking up. Okay, they could have realized like how much they may have hurt you, how their actions, again, do have consequences. Okay. And they also may have realized that they were keeping in a lot of emotions that were causing them to act out in different ways. Again, with the devil card here is really, really strong influence. It almost talks about someone who is going through things that really influences them to act, I don't want to say out of character necessarily, but out of their desired character, that's for sure. Like, I think this person probably does, at a soul level, wants to be a responsible, caring, accountable person, but then they have these thoughts and these experiences that they intentionally use to hold themselves back from being that responsible and accountable person. Okay. So when you two broke up, it was like they had to, one, deal with the way that they had impacted you, and also look at themselves for who they are at that moment. And they really did not like it. Like, again, their mask really ripped off. Okay. They regret losing you. Okay. Make your own emotions a priority. This card, I have to say this, not every single card here is about regret, because I have to say this person does not regret very much. All right. I don't really feel like they're in the kind of headspace where they're very apologetic about things. They're more so, okay, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I'm actually picking up that this particular person could actually resent that you no longer walk on eggshells for them. Okay. They're upset that you chose your own happiness rather than confining or dimming yourself or walking on eggshells, or like dealing with the tension to appease them and make them feel good. All right. They're upset that you made your own emotions a priority. They feel like you should have just taken it. And I feel like this person thinks that if you had lowered your standards, you'd still be together. All right. Wow. That if that's the case, that's scary. And I feel like this last card, I was gonna put this deck away, but Spirit guided me to keep this. We have You Are Not Alone. So just know that if this was your story, this is a very common story. You're definitely not alone in experiencing these sort of things. And I think you did the right thing by stepping away from this sort of dynamic. Um, there's this kind of like a thick fog that can come over people when they're in these kind of dynamics with people. Because it's like you want to help this person and want to help them to grow and elevate and become accountable and become responsible. But that really wasn't this person's MO. Their MO was more likely to just keep you around and keep you stuck and kind of just keep doing whatever they wanted to do while having you in their life. Okay. So stepping away from this and returning to your agency, returning to, more peace in your life is an act of self-love and responsibility. Okay. So I just want to reaffirm you in that. You're not alone. I do feel like you made the right decision. Okay. Wow. That's very intense. What else do we have here? Why does your ex regret losing you? For pile number 2. Letting go. Again, they're just upset that you let go of them. It's not really that they regret how they treated you. And I'm sorry to say that. I do feel like this person has they got some issues for real, because where's the real regret here? They're more upset that you let them go or that they let go of the connection, whatever it is. Okay. I feel like they maybe regret, I guess, forcing you to let them go. Okay. The altar. Why do they regret losing you? That's very interesting. They may regret losing you because they felt like they could have made it to literally the altar with you. Okay. I'm going to take a pause and try to interpret this more. Okay. I didn't even need the pause. Okay. You know what it is? It's that they feel like you have this magical energy that heals them and uplifts them and pushes them forward. Some of you, now not all of you, right? But some of you may actually, have done tarot card readings for them, inspire them to watch tarot card readings, have lit a candle for them, have done like a special something for them that did actually help them in their life, okay? And they regret the help. They regret losing the help that you were able to offer them with your spiritual abilities. Okay. Even if it's just kind of like being in your energy and absorbing your magic, they felt like your magic helped to push them forward. Okay. And they regret losing that. Yeah. 111. I feel like the 111 here is confirmation of what I'm trying to say. Again, you're a very aligned individual. All right. The universe loves you. God loves you. And whoever you love, they're going to get a little bit of an extra boost by being so close to you. This person regrets losing that sense of magic, all right, that you brought to their life. And that's what they regret losing. You guys could have had a lot of interesting conversations about like manifestation, like how to manifest your dream life. And they felt like they learned a lot from you, but they really can't do it necessarily alone. All right. What does your ex regret losing? Oh, wait, what is it about you? You know what I'm trying to say. What goes around comes around. You know what? The ex, again, it's not really that they regret how they treated you, and I hate to say that, but that's really what I'm picking up on. They regret the karma they're getting right now, okay? While you're leveling up, they're getting karma for whatever happened in your guys' connection. And it feels like it was sort of intense. Like it was not okay, this connection. And what goes around comes around. They have to reap what they sowed. And they don't like that. They don't like that. Again, they felt like they could have held on to your good karma longer. They could have held on to your good energy longer if you had just lowered your standards and stuck it out with walking on eggshells. In what universe are we doing that? Not this one, okay? Not this one. Not on my watch. That's craziness. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, using the wrong deck. Okay, guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it so far. Why does your ex regret losing you? Inspired action. This is very obvious. Again, they feel like you inspire them to take action towards their goals in their life. And like maybe they're motivated, but you had this extra sense, this extra perception that they may not have seen. I feel like you could sense the undercurrents of what was good for them and what wasn't. And I'll just say it, like you could really sense what direction they were going in and what task would be aligned with that. All right. In a spiritual sense, you have the ability to walk by faith, not by sight. And you even got inspired actions for them to do, but they feel like they don't really have the same sense of that sixth sense. Okay. They don't really have that same walk by faith energy. And so it's hard for them to be able to say like, okay, this is their opportunity or this isn't. When with you, they feel like they got a lot of synchronicities. They could follow your intuition. Okay. That's what they regret. What does your ex regret losing about you? Why does your ex regret losing you? Okay, interesting. One thing that I actually do miss about you, like genuinely miss about you, is the way that you would respond versus just react to situations. They feel like you were actually a very good communicator, and they do miss that from you. They feel like you would always respond from a loving place, and they regret that they don't have that anymore. We also had crisis. This one wanted to just flip over in the deck. It says, restructuring life, blessing within, clearing space, bring solutions, sees deepest needs and emotions. Dare I say, I honestly feel like the universe kind of like ripped you two apart. I hope that makes sense, but that's honestly what I'm picking up on. I feel like it was almost fate that did it, and it was done in such a way where it was like quick and obvious and just like, wow, I really had to leave. The universe may have like almost backed you into a corner. Either this person did or the universe did to like make you two break up. And it's because this person needs to restructure their life and their mindset significantly. And they could not do that with you around. Honestly, if you want my opinion, it really seems like intuitively, my intuitive opinion, it seems like the universe had to like hand this person's butt to them privately. Okay. And they didn't want you to be around to see it. And it may still be going on right now. I'm telling you, what goes wrong comes around. This person has some serious bad karma to deal with, and it's going to help to get their mind right. They need that, and they didn't want you to be hit with, for you to be collateral damage in that. So the universe tore you two apart. That's honestly what I'm getting. Why does your ex regret losing you? Mindfulness, mirror. I'm telling you about the mask thing, guys. Like they had to look at themselves. Oh my goodness. They regret losing you because they had a lot of peace of mind when you two were together. All right. They had a lot of peace of mind because that mask was like on there nice and tight. Okay. They felt like they get away with a lot of things. They felt like they had a lot of leeway in the connection, and they weren't being held accountable for a lot of things. That's what I'm picking up on anyway. And now that you two are apart, they're forced to look in the mirror and see the ways it disappointed you and others. It's obvious they can't run from it anymore. Okay. They have to really introspect and look at this relationship as a reflection of their own wounds. All right. And so that's really what they regret the most, is the fact that they had to see themselves clearly now. They were like, well, if we just stayed together, I wouldn't feel this way. But that's what's really happening deep down. Like you do need to see who you are though. All right. Yeah. They almost feel like their serenity has been like robbed of them. And now they're in this place of mayhem. All right. But the thing is, this is how they begin to heal. You have to go through this process. You can't heal yourself without knowing what you're working with, without being honest with yourself about where you really are in life and what's happening objectively around you and because of you. How do you expect to become a better person if you don't understand the ways that you're hurting others? It's impossible. Okay. So I feel like the universe made that clear to this person. All right. Which is very, very interesting. Meanwhile, you're taking care of your space, taking care of your environment. You're taking care of your mind and your energy. And I feel like you're getting to a better place. Okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if this person did a doozy on you, to be honest. You definitely made the right decision walking away, because this person, they need to go through a lot of healing to even regret this connection and their actions properly. Okay. Now guys, I do have the OG reading for y'all. That's going to be at the end of the video, and it's all about how this partnership shaped you. Okay, we're going to talk about the spiritual purpose of that connection and the transformation that you've had since you walked away. All right, well, that's it for this reading. If you want more from me, go ahead and check me out over on TikTok, same handle. I also have a website, lunarlighttarot.com, if you want to book a personal reading with me. And of course, my new oracle book, Cosmic Confessions, Channeled Secrets and Surprises, is now available on Amazon. Yay! All right, guys, all that is in the description, of course. And I will just talk to you in the next one. All right, thank you so much for watching. Love and light. Bye-bye. Hey there, Pal 3, and welcome to your reading. If you chose this rejected card or the rose quartz crystal, this one is for you. Let's go ahead and find out why your ex regrets losing you. Today, I'm starting off with the Tridevia Tarot. Let's get into it. Why does your ex regret losing you? Why does your ex regret losing you? Okay, here we go. Six of Wands. Strength in reverse, King of Wands in reverse, and the World card in reverse. Okay. Honestly, pretty clear cut so far. Okay, I want to flip over in the deck. I'm going to start here. This person feels like they weren't romantic enough. They regret not being romantic enough. Okay, a lot of these regrets have been about like what people felt they could have done better. All right. I already feel like this person felt like they didn't appreciate you enough, okay? And they regret that about the relationship, okay? With the Six of Wands here, they feel like you've become very successful ever since you've left this connection. Honestly, not even just ever since, but you were always destined for a success. And they regret that they weren't strong enough to be able to follow you on your path. They feel like they slipped and failed, all right? They feel like they didn't do enough. They feel like they didn't have enough energy. They didn't have, they weren't equipped with the right tools. There's something about them not being as passionate as they needed to be able to come with you on this next step in your journey. All right. Now, it could have been a sense of ambition that they were missing. Maybe it was motivation or discipline. Maybe it was emotional connection that they were missing out on. Maybe they weren't passionate enough towards you. We already kind of picked up this person, felt like they weren't romantic enough, but they regret that they didn't have the sort of willpower that was needed to maintain the connection. They feel like they were lacking in some area that you were trying to get them to like pick up the pace in, and that became more of a burden to you. They definitely regret burdening you as well, and they regret that they, they're no longer going to be a part of your life. They feel like you're in this whole new chapter that is really wonderful and uplifting, and that you're like going new places and like your life seems much better now. And they just wish they could have come along with you. Okay. That's what I'm picking up on. Let's go ahead and look at the Oracle of Oneness deck. Why does your ex regret losing you? Why does your ex regret losing you? For pile number 3, nature offers profound healing. Why does your ex regret losing you? Why does your ex regret losing you? Okay. Focus on facts instead of mind reading. Ooh, that's interesting. And together in oneness, enriched by diversity. Let's have kind of an extra one here. Alrighty, I'll address that soon. Okay, nature offers profound healing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that this person feels like you offered them profound healing. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up with that. They regret losing the nurturing that you gave them, the kindness that you gave them. I have to say this is more pure than the other piles. I feel the other piles, the people were more so reliant on this person's labor. This person really, I want to say they really enjoyed your energy. Okay. They feel like you had this like natural vibe that was so healing and uplifting and honestly kind of mesmerizing to them. They also felt like you could have encouraged them to be healthier. All right. To get out into nature, to incorporate more vegetables or like, different kinds of, I want to say supplements into their diet. Finding ways to like improve their diet. You could have also like helped them to learn how to cook. For some of you, okay? You could have introduced them to like new recipes and like got them to stop ordering takeout as much. This person felt like you really influenced them to be healthy. And they regret losing you because of that, because they feel like they were becoming more healthy with you, and now they may be slipping back into some of their old habits. I'm getting specifically that this person may use like DoorDash or Uber Eats a lot, whereas when they were with you, they were more so encouraged to like cook their food. Okay. What else did they regret about losing you? Why your ex regrets losing you? This person felt like they focused on some of the wrong things when they came to your connection, and they could have blamed you for you wanting them to step up in terms of accountability and maybe emotional availability or expression. And they could have said things like, oh, like what am I supposed to do? Read your mind? I'm supposed to read your mind and know what you want? But I feel like you really wanted things that were more basic, and they made molehills into mountains, and they regret that. Okay. They regret that. They're like, I should have focused on the facts. Like the facts were, I can actually step up in this way. Like that's actually not so big for me to do. I just need to be more conscious about it. And I don't have to turn it into something where she's asking me to mind read, or, or you, the viewer, or asking your partner to mind read. They realize now in retrospect that you weren't asking them for something that was astronomical or unreasonable at all. You really were asking them for pretty basic things, and they turned it into something unreasonable, like mind reading, or you want so much from me, when really it was very reasonable. Okay. So they regret doing that. They regret making mountains out of molehills with you, and also like kind of shaming you for voicing what you needed to make the connection work. Okay. And showing them the areas that they can improve, because they just felt like every single time you had done that, you were saying, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. Instead of really understanding like, okay, I need to deliver something different. And it doesn't mean that I'm a bad partner, I'm a bad person. What it does mean that there's areas for improvement here, and we can be better together as a couple. And I feel like they didn't have that sort of mindset when it came to it, and they regret that. They regret that mindset. Okay. They regret not working together as a team. They definitely regret that. Okay. They feel like they could have been much more of a team with you instead of you versus them. They did a little bit of you versus them, and they definitely do not like that. You guys are in oneness, enriched by diversity. Yeah, you know what? This person also regrets that they didn't see your diversity of thought as an asset. They could have felt like you two thought differently about love and romance. That could be true. But instead of seeing that as we can learn from each other and become, even better in terms of how we view love and romance and partnership, they took it as like, we're at odds with each other and we're incompatible because we think differently. Instead of being like, we can help each other see more of the whole, it's I'm right or you're right. Which one is it going to be? All right. And so this person has a little bit too much of like a black and white mindset, and that made things difficult, and they regret that. Now they see things differently. Okay. I feel like after the breakup, they started to look in the mirror and understand the things that you were talking about. Okay. Because we have this freaking adorable beaver, and the little title here is Damned Emotions May Eventually Burst Forth. So again, after you two broke up, it was like everything burst forth, and they started to understand what you were talking about and totally seeing it and being like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So this person, more so than the other piles, I have to say, regrets their actions and more so their mindset when it came to operating in this relationship. I also want to bring up the bottom of the deck here. It says, are you getting in your own way? Facts. This person regrets getting in their own way when it came to being happy with you. They felt like they could have been happy with you if they had just really listened, put down their ego, and listened and executed on what you needed instead of being so defensive or dismissive. All right. Hindsight's definitely 2020. Let's keep going. Okay. Why does your ex regret losing you? See you on the other side. Why does your ex regret losing you? Snow day. Why does your ex regret losing you? You belong here. Why does your ex regret losing you? A new day. Okay. This ex regrets not doing the work that it takes to keep you and to maintain the relationship. They felt like you offered them a challenge and they didn't take it up. And normally I might say failed, but honestly, I pick up that this person didn't put much effort towards this challenge at all. So how could they really fail if they never really tried? Right? So I feel like you gave them a challenge. You're like, this is what I need. Okay. I'll meet you here. I'll meet you halfway. I'll see you on the other side. All right. With this card here. Like, I'll be in this party. I need you to walk down these steps and come to me. I'll be here. Okay. And they took a snow day and they just didn't do it. I just feel like that's what happened. Like, they were lackadaisical, at the right word chat. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Anyway, so this person felt like it wasn't necessary at the time. That wasn't really necessary. They kind of didn't take it so seriously. And now you're in a whole new space. Okay. They regret they didn't take it seriously because they felt like you belong with them. All right. They actually wanted to be together, but this person at the time, dare I say it, they could have been kind of lazy. Okay. When it came to maintaining your connection. I don't have to tell you guys that relationships, they do require work. All right. Even if two people are compatible, you may have different love languages that really may clash with each other. If they don't, if you're not executing correctly, you may have different communication styles that you need to learn to communicate with each other effectively. You may have different lifestyles that you guys want to live. You guys have to come to the middle and think about how you want to spend your time together as a couple. How do you want your future to look like? How do you want to, raise kids if you want to do that? How do you want to manage finances? There are so many different aspects that come to being with a couple. It's not just about love. And I do feel like this person loved you. If you got to that point, I do really feel like they loved you. But there were other things that they tended to neglect that they thought just weren't that important. But again, it's not all about the love. Unfortunately, being together, and especially in a marriage, something that is essentially you're running your lives together. All right. And there's more to running a life than just loving life or being in love. You have to be practical as well. So this person missed out on some of those more practical things. Okay. That's what I'm picking up on. They felt like you belonged with them, but they didn't do the things that you needed to feel maybe safe or appreciated, or to feel like you guys are moving in the right direction. Okay. And they regret that. They regret that they kind of forced you to move into a new chapter without them. Okay. That's what I'm picking up on. Guys, if you're enjoying this reading, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Why does your ex regret losing you? Highest expression. They felt like you brought the best in them. Truly. You brought the best in them. You make them the happiest. Okay. And they also felt that it was part of their destiny to possibly be with you. They just felt like, wow, we could go all the way, but they felt they fell short. Okay. Why does your ex regret losing you? Life surfing. It says, feeling capable of overcoming adversity, no expectations, approaching life like a sport. They regret losing you because you're really good at this. Okay, you're very good at life surfing, and they're not really the same necessarily. Their life is together. I feel like they're doing pretty well for themselves, but you're a different level. Okay, you're a different level. You have that intuition. You have that practicality. You're sharp. Okay. And you're very good at overcoming adversity and approaching life like a sport. You can roll with the punches and punch right back. Okay? You make life happen. You don't let life happen to you. And I'm not saying this person lets life happen to them. Well, I don't know. You know what? Because I feel like they could have stepped up differently, right? And then they would have made life happen with you. Anyway, let me not. But again, you're just better at this skill. Okay, so they regret losing you because they felt like you showed them how it's done when it comes to living life. And now they don't have that example. All right? Can you guys tell I love making videos for you guys? Why does your ex regret losing you? It's manifested. Shocking. Okay, honestly, what I'm picking up here is that they felt like they manifested you, but they let the connection slip through their fingers. They felt like you were their dream come true. It's giving me 9 of Cups energy. All right. You were the person that they wanted to be with. I'm telling you, they feel like you were their ideal and they let it slip. That's why they regret it. Okay? Because they feel like they asked God for a wish and they got it and they messed it up. Yeah, I'd be mad too. I'd be sad too. Okay? If I had to lose you. Love you. Anyway, yeah, loving all of you. Love and accept your inner darkness for greatest self-love. Oh no. Here we go. Okay, great. Now you can see everything. This person regrets losing you because they felt like you saw them holistically for who they are, good and bad, and you love them thoroughly. You love them despite their flaws. And sometimes you love their flaws. I mean, it depends on what the flaw was, right? But sometimes you loved those too. And you love them for who they really were and not just the good parts of them, but everything that they were. And they're not sure if they're really going to get that back. I'm sure that, if they continue to do their work and, they build those connection skills, I'm sure they'll find someone else who will love them, thoroughly in that same way. I think everyone deserves to be loved for, who they are authentically, right? And authentically, we can still have flaws. But yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, they feel like you love them really, really deeply for who they truly were. And they regret that. They regret that they messed that up. Mask. Ooh, that's interesting. This person regrets not telling you how much they really cared about you. That's what I'm getting. They regret not really going for it, stepping outside their comfort zone, making more plans with you, planning more dates, so showing how they really felt about you, okay? They regret putting on a mask and not showing their true feelings towards you. Not making it super obvious that they wanted to be with you, that they cared about you, that they loved you, that they wanted to, sort of life with you. And not putting forth the effort that was needed to be able to not only create and build, but to maintain that life. Okay? Anyway, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Become an OG today so you can watch the OG reading. It's going to be all about how that relationship shaped you. Okay, we're going to find out the spiritual purpose of this connection and the transformation that you've had since you walked away. All right, it's going to be super good coming up in just a few minutes right after this reading. Additionally, guys, I do have a TikTok if you're interested in that. Same handle, Lunar Light Tarot, as a website, lunarlighttarot.com. If you want to book a personal reading with me, I would love to talk to you one-on-one. And what else do I got? Oh, my new Oracle book, Cosmic Confessions, is out now on Amazon. So you guys want to check that out. The link for that is in my description as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one. Love and light. Bye. Hello, it's my OG to the very end of the reading. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel, 1, and 2. Let's go ahead and get into today's reading, how that relationship has shaped you today, okay? Again, the 2 topics we're kind of diving into are the spiritual purpose of the connection with your ex, same one you got the reading on for today, and the transformation that you've had since you walked away, all right? Let's spare no time. Let's go ahead and get into this, okay? I'm going to be starting off with the Soulful Woman Oracle deck, all right? Let's start with the first question, of course. What was the spiritual purpose of the connection with your ex? The unknown. What was the spiritual purpose of the connection with your ex? Soul's journey. What was the spiritual purpose of the connection they had with their ex? What was the spiritual purpose of the connection that they had with their ex? For my OGs. Self-renewal. One more. What was the spiritual purpose? Okay, creative cocooning. Interesting. Inner wellspring. Okay, so for the theme of a lot of these relationships, or the relationships that we explored in today's readings, the main readings, there were often themes of this person not really doing enough to be able to maintain the connection, okay? And that's where we're starting off today, okay, is with that theme, all right? The spiritual purpose of this connection is to teach you that the unknown, or I guess sometimes the devil that you don't know, can be better than the devil that you do know. Sometimes people become very nervous, not just around being alone, in not being in a relationship, but what comes after this. I don't know what I'm going to get if I walk into being single. If I take a step out of this relationship, like what happens after that, the unknown. And it's not always just about, I don't know if I'm going to find somebody better, but it's also about who am I going to be outside of this relationship? Who am I outside of what I give to others? What I can provide to this connection, and this lifestyle that I'm living right now. It kind of boils down to change as well. Okay, there could have been a bit of a fear of change that you were experiencing, and again, a fear of the unknown, like what's going to happen if I step out of this dynamic. Okay, and on a larger scale, this connection was trying to towards the end, right? Because again, they made this person seemed like were not able to maintain the connection. You were faced with a choice, right? Do I stay in a connection where the pattern is ultimately kind of predictable? All right, I've seen enough from this person to predict what they're going to do. Within reason, right? We gotta hope maybe it's something different, but in actuality and practicality, it's the pattern is there, okay? Versus the unknown. And I know what's going to happen if I step out of this connection. Will I be happy? Will I be sad? Will I, meet someone better? Will I meet someone worse? Like, what will it be? Sometimes that kind of crossroads can keep us really stuck and keep us in dynamics longer than need be. There's this whole saying with people like, oh, I invested so much time in this person, why would I leave? Okay. This also is rooted in the fear of the unknown, isn't it? I invested so much time. Why would I go now? We have so much history. Why would I leave now? It's like choosing what you find to be familiar and predictable over the unknown, which you find to be unpredictable, and you just don't know what you're going to get, okay? The meaning of this card says, I bow to the infinite intelligence of the cosmos, and my next steps are revealed. This is more so towards the end, okay? I guess I can't exactly say the spiritual connection of like spiritual purpose of why you two got together, but this is more of like the spiritual purpose of towards the ending of the connection. I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm picking up on. Part of this was to help you release fear of the unknown and to help you to realize, I said this in one of the piles actually, that you can never invest time. Okay, it's something that isn't working for you, something that's misaligned. You can invest time when it comes to your finances, LOL. You can start investing early. But right, when it comes to relationships and people, especially ones that are misaligned, we cannot invest time. You can only waste time. Okay, you can only lose time. All right, so this was about being able to sense your soul's intuitive nudge towards taking a leap of faith and doing something way different, towards jumping into the unknown and dashing away fear in favor of going where your soul is directing you to go next. Okay, that leads us to the next card, is Soul's Journey. It says, living from the soul opens me to the magic that exists when I surrender to divine manifestation on its own terms and timing. Part of the purpose towards the end of the connection, I do want to specify, that's what I'm hearing from spirit. This is more so towards the end and not necessarily why you two got together, okay? Is to be able to recognize the voice of the universe, the voice of God, the synchronicities, whatever you want to call that, right? Synonyms, as they're pushing you towards something different. Okay. And I'm already sensing that as I'm, giving this reading, you guys have varying degrees of skill when it comes to hearing God's voice, recognizing synchronicities, and ultimately knowing when you're about to turn a corner in your life and when a major change is being required of you. Okay. It's helping you to learn this connection, again, towards the end, was helping you to learn what is the point where challenge turns into complete resistance. What is the difference between I'm being challenged to grow and step into my empowered, authentic self, and I'm being hit with the wall I'm being asked to pivot and turn somewhere else. I'm being hit with a lot of resistance that I do not need to endure. There is a fine line there, because oftentimes as we're being pulled towards something, we're expanding to be able to meet the challenge of whatever it is. Say like you're, trying to get a job, right? And you're having to work on your writing skills, you're having to work on your resume, you're having to, maybe up level your skills, right? And say, or even let me put it this way: you're in a job, right? You're in a job and you're expanding your skills and you're working on the job and you're, becoming a better employee. And as things go along, maybe, your relationship with your boss has become more difficult, or your coworkers become more difficult, and you're not being appreciated as much. When does it turn from I'm being empowered to grow and become my best person versus I'm starting to, my light is starting to dim. I'm starting to be drained by this situation. This is not just a challenge. I'm being met with real resistance here, and I'm not growing anymore. I am being stagnated because there's so much stimuli. There's so much effort that I had to put into things that aren't helping me grow, that I don't have enough energy to pour into myself properly to advance. And this is part of why this is part of the purpose of your connection as you guys were ending the connection. And I really want to make that clear. Spirit is almost saying that this person acted as a catalyst for you to understand this distinction. And this is a very, very important distinction. I'm actually really glad that Spirit brought up this topic in today's reading, because a lot of people get hung up on this. All right? They start feeling like suffering is a badge of honor. That's not true. I want to say this, and I know it's a general blanket statement, but I truly believe, this is not controversial at all, but I truly believe that we're not meant to suffer in this lifetime. We're not meant to suffer. I know there's immense suffering in the world, unfortunately, but I think, as human design, we're not meant to suffer. All right? There's no virtue in suffering. There's no virtue in being a martyr unnecessarily. You know what I mean? We have a lot of, you know what I'm trying to say. We have a lot of amazing martyrs who did amazing things for our communities. And you guys know what I'm trying to say, okay? In relationships and things like that, all right? There's no virtue in being a martyr. So when you're giving of yourself, draining yourself dry, especially when trying to help someone who really is maybe not even helping themselves, or not doing what it takes to maintain a connection with you, he's not equipped enough to maintain a connection with you, and that's been shown over time. This connection was brought out to help you to understand the distinction between, okay, this is no longer working, and I need to pack my things up and go. Because this kind of lesson can be translated to almost everything in life, all right? It can be translated into our jobs, into obviously romantic relationships, into our friendships, okay? Even into the way that we treat ourselves. Okay, especially when it comes to like addictions and things like that. Like, when is enough enough? All right, when am I growing, and when am I stagnating myself? All right, it's very, very important. And I think sometimes, especially I'm going to say it for women and femme presenting people, it can be very easy to be like, well, I'm giving, so I'm adding value. I'm giving, so it's fulfilling to me. Because a lot of us have been raised to be like, well, if I'm not giving to my community, what purpose do I serve? Okay. And that can become so extreme where we drain ourselves to be able to care for other people, to care for our partner, to care for our friends. Okay. To the point where we have nothing to give ourselves. Okay. And it's unfair. It's not right. Okay, let's into the next card. We have self-renewal. As I clean out old energies, I have more space for that which I want to birth into my life. Spirit wanted you to realize that you stepping out of this connection so you can focus on you and give your energy to you is not selfish. It's self-preserving. It's actually what you deserve to do. And it's what you're being called to do. All right. We can't give from an empty cup. And it's unfair to be drained from someone and then, get nothing in return. Okay. That's not reciprocity. that's parasitic. Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you guys have parasitic relationships. I'm just saying, like, that's what that is. Okay. So this catalyst was also to help you to recognize that your time of self-care is really, really important. And self-care and self-love is not just, I mean, it encompasses these things, sure. It's not just slapping on a face mask or like writing in a journal. Like, of course, it encompasses those things too. But self-love is discipline. Self-love is accountability. Self-love is responsibility for yourself and your life. So as you're going through this connection, you're starting to realize to yourself, like, wait, I'm responsible to make myself happy, not this person. Sure, as a partner, you want to make your person happy, of course, right? And partially, maybe you'd say that's your job. Okay, sure, like to an extent, but your job first is to make yourself happy and to make sure that you're getting what you need to be able to continue in a connection. Otherwise, it's not worth it. All right. If someone doesn't have the skills that it takes to maintain a connection, they should not be in connection with you. They can go find somebody else who has different boundaries, who has different requirements than to tell you to lower a standard. Okay. It's just not fair. Okay. Like, say, for example, say you're like a sensitive person. You shouldn't be required to then get a tough skin, take it on the chin, just be fine when your partner is mean to you. No, they should be more compassionate. They should probably think about having more tact. And that may be a requirement that you have in your relationship that other people don't have. And that's fine. We're individuals for a reason. Oh, I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but that's what you guys came here for also. You guys know what I'm trying to say, okay? Anyway, so this is also about realizing that your especially unique qualities are not to be like diminished or dismissed. They're meant to be cared for. Like, if you are a sensitive person, like, it's totally fine to want a partner that is thoughtful and considerate of that, instead of being like, well, I should change, or, I should dim myself, or I should do this or that. Like, that's not self-loving. Okay. A self-love would be having enough backbone to be like, this is who I am. And if you're going to get with that, you're going to have to accept it and be able to work with it. Because, those kind of things are an asset. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, oh, if you have a really mean way of speaking to people and that's just who you are, oh, you should just get with that. No. Like, there are definitely things that people can overcome, especially when it comes to, being a kinder person, being a more compassionate person. Like, can't stretch it too much, but you know what I'm trying to say, like, within reason. Okay. Next, we have creative cocooning. Part of what this connection was trying to teach you, especially towards the end, was that when you're in a connection that is filled with resistance and is having a hard time moving forward, it can fill your mind to the point where you can't even have creative thoughts anymore, where you're in a fog. You can't see the way forward in your life anymore because you're becoming so consumed with, how do I make this work? Instead of the connection building you up. And so you actually have the mental space and even more energy to conquer your tasks than you did before. A connection should be lifting you up to the point where you have more energy, more confidence, more peace in your life, and more mental space to have creative ideas. Okay? And if it's not, again, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. A connection should not cause all this mental fog for you, confusion, overwhelm of stress, and blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying that you're never going to feel stressed in a connection. There are going to be hard conversations. Okay? There may be hard conversations as you two calibrate to one another and blah, blah. Like, that's all very important. But ultimately, and for the most part, a connection should lift you up and make your head feel clear. You should feel clear about where the connection is going, what you mean to that person, so on and so forth, right? For the most part. This connection was meant to help you to see that if you don't have peace in your connection, it will fog your mentality to the point where life is difficult to navigate. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay, so there's a couple things going on here. Again, they're trying to teach you that the unknown can be very good for you. The unknown and change can be very, very positive. And when the universe is nudging you to move forward in a certain direction, how do you hear that call? What's the difference between growing and expanding and being drained and diminished? Where is the line between those two things? Okay. And remembering that your self-love isn't just, painting your nails and caring for yourself. It also is having discipline and accountability and serious responsibility of your own life, navigating, taking the reins of your own life, and not letting maybe your emotions for someone cloud your judgment of what's best for you, because you're responsible for you. You're not responsible for other people as much as you may love them, unless they're your kids. Unless they are good, to an extent, guys, everything will balance. But you know what I'm trying to say. And that connections that are difficult can really block your creative senses from moving forward. Okay. And also can block your inner wellspring, like your wellspring of love for yourself. Okay. So I feel like that covers the first question. LOL, like I got a little carried away. So let's go on to the second question. I wasn't even thinking about spending that much time here, but Spirit had a lot to say, and I love being the one to say it. So let's go ahead and move on to question 2, which is, how have you transformed since walking away? Divine Sword, how have my OGs transformed since walking away from this connection? How have my OGs transformed since walking away from their ex? Dragons. Interesting. How have my OGs transformed since walking away? Wow, that's beautiful. You are so powerful. So powerful. This group, I swear, I'm in awe every single time. You guys have no idea. I literally will talk to myself and be like, the people who follow me are so intelligent, so wise, so hardworking, so dedicated. They love themselves. They put in the dang work. They make life happen. This reading, again, is just proof of that. It's just proof of that. And I know that because I've been reading your energy for 6 years. So I know. I'm telling you, I know. Anyway, okay, so this is fire. And you guys have grown so much since this connection, okay? And I really want to put emphasis on that because I feel like you may not even understand the ways that you have honestly surpassed your expectations, surpassed the expectations of others. Okay, let's go ahead and see. A castle. It's time for healing, not war. Well, the first way that you grew is that, first of all, you may have not really needed closure. You may not really needed, and for some of you, revenge. Okay. And that could be, a lot of different ways, right? That may have been something like, you're posting revenge pics. You got your revenge dress on, or you're trying to make people jealous. You just felt like you didn't need to do those things. And in fact, the breakup for some of you guys was quite solemn. I felt like there were a lot of things that had come crashing down around you. You're like, I don't even want to go back and forth with this person anymore. That's really where the growth was. You guys felt like you didn't have to go back and forth. Again, really try to fix things. You're like, it's burnt. Let me just put this down and do something else. I'm not even going to try to get even. I'm not going to try to make this person jealous. I'm not going to try to play games. It's not even worth it. Let me just put this down. I need to heal. I need to focus on me. So that was already, for some of you, a way that you had transformed. Next thing you realized is, and this is going to sound a little bit harsh, but it's important, that if a connection is not reciprocal to your life, it should not have a space in your life. Okay? It should have a space in your life. Unless it's your child, okay? Because what kind of child's really, give to you? But if it's not symbiotic, it should not be allowed to be in your life, especially if it's someone where you can easily get rid of them. Get rid of them, okay? Like a friend or a relationship. And if they're draining you to the point where, again, you can't see the way forward in your life, it's full of fog, you're confused, things are becoming overwhelmed and stressed, that is a freaking dragon that you need to slay, okay? If that person loves you or doesn't love you, it really isn't the point. The point is at this time, there's so much resistance that it's causing you to break down. That it's so misaligned that it's become detrimental. It needs to be cut out of your life. Okay? It's so important. So that's how you guys are transformed. You realize that, frankly, love isn't enough. Respectfully, you need skill to maintain a relationship. You need to be communicative. You need to have integrity. You need to be honest. You need to be consistent. These are real skills. And if people don't have them, sorry, you can't date me. How about that? Okay? Seriously. It's not just about I love you and that's it. Like, really though. Okay? And that's what you guys have realized. You're like, wait, I have to stand up for myself, because even if this person cares about me, this connection is not working for me. I need to do what I need to do to make sure that I'm okay, that I'm happy. All right? And also you realize that you're not responsible for fixing other people. All right? If people don't have those skills, it's not on you to consistently teach them over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying that, it's like not okay to like help your partner grow. But again, where is the line? Where is the line between we're growing and we're expanding and we're challenging each other to become better people versus you're draining me? All right? And it's becoming too much to bear. Where is the line between that? Okay? You're realizing that it's not your responsibility to teach someone how to be a good partner. All right? It's not your responsibility. You can help someone, but again, that line is very important. The line is very, very important. And it doesn't make you a bad person for putting your hands up and being like, wait, I just need someone who knows how to do this. I need someone who knows how to do this. I need someone who's going to pour into me like I pour into them. All right? And I want to reemphasize here that for my viewers, I really feel like you're not asking anyone for something that you wouldn't give them yourself, that you wouldn't do yourself. Okay? That part. Remember that. It's like, this isn't too much to ask. You may be asking the wrong person. Okay? And then the last one we have stars. You can manifest your every wish. All of this work that you've done, this inner work, has now led you to believe in yourself so much more. To realize that, you know what? I can have a peaceful, beautiful life that flows naturally from one phase to the next without so much pain and heartbreak. I can manifest the kind of partner in the life of my dreams, and I can have a beautiful connection with people, platonically, romantically, familial. I can have those connections as long as I prioritize the ones that support me back and are reciprocal, and distance myself from the ones that are purely draining. Okay? You guys got that spark back for life. And you realize that the universe, the unknown, is full of possibilities. Your life is full of possibilities. It is abundant. You guys switched from a more scarcity mindset to a more abundant mindset, a more limitless mindset, a mindset that tells you, I can do anything I put my mind to. Okay? And I know the difference between connections that are reciprocal and uplifting and the ones that are draining me and that are not worth the energy that I put into them. Because you know what? You can't operate a relationship alone. You can't fix things in a connection alone. All right? And I feel like that was a big lesson in this connection. You guys painted the sun back into your own sky. You went back and you found your passion, your hobbies, your interests. You went back and you put in the work to create your own happiness, create your own joy, to move yourself out of a difficult situation and push yourself, even when you didn't really feel like it, push yourself into a better situation, into more happiness. It's not always easy when we're really sad and we're down in the dumps and maybe we're experiencing a breakup to intentionally push yourself to be happy. It can be really, really hard. I'm sure you guys know when you're in a space of depression, all of that, to really paint the sun back into your sky. Some people want to stay in the dark. They would rather do that than put in the work that it takes to, again, and I'm saying this with purpose, I'm saying this very intentionally, to create your own happiness. It doesn't come out of nowhere, guys. Okay? It does not come out of nowhere. It takes real work. Inner and outer work, okay? Inner work being your mindset, the way you speak to yourself, right? The things you believe about yourself. And the outer work being like making active connections with friends, going out there and doing it, like, you know, getting real hobbies that may be inside the house or outside the house, and trying to make your environment more livable and you know, more beautiful and cleaner and things like that. Those are all some of the things, right, that can help you to get to that space. So again, you guys have put in real work. All right. This is impressive. This is impressive. Some people don't want to do this for themselves. But you said, no, I deserve more. This is what I'm going to do for my life because I love myself. And again, love is not just, you know, it's not abstract. Sometimes it is really active. Okay. It's very active. It's strong. It's powerful. Okay. And you guys have that power. You do. All right, y'all. That's what I have for you guys today. Gosh, can I yap, right? Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching today's reading. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I will talk to you in the next one. Love and light. Bye.